Hello and welcome to the Podquest of Bread. My name is Henry Conley. Tonight we're going to talk about a death cult. As one candidate for office, a progressive candidate for office out of California, I believe, put it today, the White House is a pandemic petri dish. And another reporter said that they felt safer reporting from North Korea than they do reporting from the White House currently. Those are two shocking statements describing the situation within the White House, which has been reported as having more COVID cases than Vietnam reported within the last 3 days. This is scary. This is disturbing. What we are witnessing right now is a complete breakdown of the executive branch of the United States. What we are witnessing is the results of the entire executive branch failing to listen to the very own CDC guidelines that are meant to protect us. What we are witnessing right now is karma and literally the result of ignoring the existence of a deadly virus, a highly transmittable virus. And right now, the President of the United States ascended the staircase to the South Portico to salute Marine One as it takes off. A photo very reminiscent of the fascist Mussolini taking a photo from his balcony. But I want to highlight something here, and it really gives us an insight as to what is going on with Donald Trump's health right now, being that we are being lied to by the White House, by the chief physician, and by everybody surrounding the president as to his actual health. In this very short video that you can find on Twitter, gasping is trending for a reason. You can see Donald Trump take his mask off, what appear to wince in pain, and then gasp for air. The president's not well. I'm just going to put that out there. He's not well. He's not cured of this. If anybody believes that in 3 days he managed to be cured of this, I got another thing coming for you, because he's not. And of course, right away, a lot of people started to believe that, okay, that this is proof. He faked it. This was just a publicity stunt. I'm not there. I'm not there. And that the reason I'm not there is because there's people that aren't a part of his administration that have been tested as positive. And I don't think that these people would have been in cahoots with the administration to set up some elaborate fake. I don't think that that is going to happen. And then there's a certain person who has been, oddly enough for her age, a point of information that we can't ignore, who is also tested positive, and I highly doubt that she would be in cahoots on this grand conspiracy to make Trump appear like he defeated the virus. So I just kind of want to roll through some of the stuff that we got here. Okay, so the first one, of course, Trump visibly gasping for air. That's something that has to be highlighted. But currently, here's the timeline of infections that we have. The first, of course, is Hope Hicks, announced on 10/1. Trump on 10/2. Melania Trump on 10/2. Mike Lee, 10/2. Rona McDaniel, 10/2. Reverend John Jenkins, 10/2. Kellyanne Conway, 10/2. Bill Stipon, 10/2. Ron Johnson, either 10/2 or 10/3. Same with Tom Phillips. Chris Christie, announced on 10/2. 3 White House reporters testing positive. Those are some of the people that I'm saying I don't think that they're involved in some grand conspiracy. Nick Luna, which he tested positive on 10/2. Debate staff, they accounted for 10 cases, all testing positive. They are the other half of the people that I'm saying I don't think they're in a grand conspiracy. Today we had Kayleigh McEnany announced that she is positive, including 2 deputies to her. And then most recently, yesterday via TikTok, Claudia Conway announcing that she is also positive with coronavirus. Now, I call this a death cult, and I call this episode the death cult for a reason. Because it seems that allegiance to the leader of the United States, to the president of the United States, is causing people within Trump's higher circles to lie to their families or to hide positive test results. It seems even Donald Trump himself hid for 36 hours a positive test result in order to continue on with campaign events. Donald Trump has already announced that he plans to be involved in next week's presidential debate, 1 week after he tests positive for COVID-19. This is a death cult. These people are allegiant to Donald Trump and Donald Trump himself. That's it. They're willing to sacrifice their families, their friends, random strangers, and the health of citizens in the United States for him. We saw Donald Trump put at risk his Secret Service detail to drive by his adoring fans yesterday just so he could wave at them. He looked frail. And these poor Secret Service agents are dressed head to toe in hospital gowns and wearing masks and goggles in order to fucking prevent themselves from catching the virus that they don't deserve to catch. These men volunteer to take a bullet for this orange douchebag. And yet, here he is risking them getting infected and spreading that infection to their families. And then their families spread that infection to their family. And so on and so forth. This is a 100% indicator that this administration has no care about how epidemics spread. How pandemics spread. They have zero care. They wanted to say that inside that car, the Secret Service agents were perfectly fine. There was no risk to them. But yet the CDC came out today and said that, yes, COVID-19 can spread via airborne transmission at more than 6 feet apart. They recommended that because of this, masks be worn. They recommended that in indoor spaces, they use proper ventilation. Because yet again, this fucking virus has mutated. And yet again, this administration is completely ignoring it. Donald Trump sent out a tweet saying that the virus is not as bad and don't let it control your life. Don't live in fear. That is the worst tweet for the President of the United States to send out right now. I wish I could quote the entire tweet, but Twitter smartly took it down. It violated their terms of service. It violated their rules because of how false it is. Yeah, this virus, if you're in perfect health, you have no underlying conditions, you'll probably survive. If you're young enough, you could survive. But guess what? We live in America, where most of our people have underlying conditions. This virus is no walk in the park. And Donald Trump is putting it out there to his amazing legion of cultists that will buy this hook, line, and sinker and believe that this virus is absolutely nothing because Donald Trump beat it in 3 days. And look at him. He's boarding Marine One. He's landing at the White House and he's saluting Marine One. They'll ignore that he's gasping for air and they'll make excuses for it. They'll ignore that he's wincing in pain and make excuses for it. They'll continue to walk around not wearing masks. They'll continue to walk around and go to more super spreader events. This administration has absolutely no care for us, the American people. They only care about themselves. It's absolutely disgusting. He risks his detail. He risks his staff. His staff risks their families' lives. Kellyanne Conway's daughter put it out there on Snapchat or on TikTok the other day, just yesterday, I believe, saying that her mother lied to her about her positive test and they spent the entire day together. And now her daughter's suffering from visible effects from this virus. Why? Why? Because Donald Trump says that it's not that bad. Because they have it in their heads that it's not that bad. That it's being drummed up by the media. That it's being drummed up by the CDC. That it's being drummed up by the Democrats. That's not the case. This virus is deadly. It is. Yeah, it's not as deadly as some of the other pandemics we could have possibly dealt with. It's not as deadly as an antibiotic-resistant bacterial infection, but it's still deadly. And here's my fear. Donald Trump is literally taking his life into his own hands. He is taking the biggest risk he can possibly take. And I don't like the guy. But if he dies, the continuity of government leads down some very rocky roads. Mike Pence, absolutely a disturbing option there. Then it goes to Nancy Pelosi. This man is playing Russian roulette with the entire U.S. government, with the existence of our democracy. This guy had someone very close to him die of this virus. And I just want to read the timeline. 6:24, attends Trump rally. 7:2, test positive for COVID. 7:10, says he's improving. 7:15 says his doctors seem happy. 7:27 says he's really getting better. 7:30 dies. That is the timeline. 37 days, sorry. 37 days. After 3 days, he appeared like he was fine. He was feeling great. Who is this person? Herman Cain. November 1st will be 37 days after Trump got this. What are we looking at here? What are we facing? What are we staring down? We are staring down something that we didn't necessarily foresee coming. The most guarded man on the earth has COVID-19. The most guarded man on the earth got access to the treatments you and I will never have access to. And the most guarded man on earth is still suffering from this disease. But here's another thing to keep in mind. COVID-19, to be treated, they put you on steroids. And they put you on a lot of steroids. And one of the side effects of steroids is psychosis, an altered mental state. Earlier today, Donald Trump sent out a series of 15 tweets in all capitals, calling on everything that he possibly could to go out and vote. This is a sign of his slipping mental state. This is a sign of how the steroids are affecting him. And I said it today. The 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. Donald Trump needs to have the powers taken away from him. The nuclear football is currently very dangerous in this man's hands, amongst many other things. And it's only going to get worse. We thought the ride from November 4th to January 20th was going to be scary. Well, it turns out that October wanted to give us a 1 month jump. 1 month jump. The ride from here to November 3rd is scary as hell because Donald Trump is being treated for COVID-19 and the steroids are taking effect. We have a choice to make. This man needs to go. I don't care how, but he needs to be out of that office because he is a danger to democracy existing in the United States. We can't do another 4 years of this reckless behavior. We really can't. Stay beautiful, humans.